Hi guys, welcome to the first educational video of the week will be by Chris. It's just an introductory class of class 10 ICSE and solutions. We will upload our next video in a couple of days. We thought of going live, but it takes 24 hours to make an account on of YouTube to go live. So we thought we will go by the next in a couple of days.
Yes, just a minute. So my video is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Manir, your video. Yeah. So good evening, students. So
Good
today
evening,
we are
sir.
going to discuss. Good evening. So today we are going to discuss circulation of blood in the heart. So in the heart, as we have already discussed, there, right, there will be 4 chambers.
Yes, sir.
So right. So in the circulation of blood in the heart, so you'll have heart. Heart is very important, which is a pump, which is just like a pumping machine in our heart. And this heart will have 4 chambers, right? So top 2 chambers are called as atria, or they are called as auricles, and the bottom 2 chambers are called as ventricles. Now, if you see if you see the image of the heart, it is very difficult to understand how the blood is moving in the heart. So how the blood is moving in the circulatory system in our body. So to make it understand very clearly, what I'm going to do is I'm making that heart picture and lungs in a simplified manner. So now I'll explain you that in a simplified manner so that you can understand. So can you see the board? Okay. Now, I'm just drawing something. Now, just listen. So instead of drawing the actual heart picture, what I'm trying to do is I'm drawing a simplified diagram so that how the blood is circulating in our body, right? To understand that very clearly, I'm drawing this heart have 4 chambers like this. So I'm making this to understand you, right? So I'm trying to make you understand in a simplified manner, right? So
Okay, sir.
this, yes. Now this top 2 are called as auricles or atria. So we call this is a right atrium and this is left atrium, and this is right ventricle and this is left ventricle. So I'm just trying to make this picture of the heart simplified to make you understand how this blood flows in our body. Now, generally what happens here is the impure blood, or deoxygenated blood from different parts of the body enters into this right atrium through 2 different arteries, two different veins, right? So we call these veins. First one is superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. This is superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. This is veins actually. These are veins, and this is inferior vena cava, right? So as you know, arteries carries pure blood and veins carry impure blood,
Yes, sir.
right? So these two are veins, and these two are called as superior vena cava. This first one is superior vena cava. Superior vena cava carries impure blood or deoxygenated blood from top of the body. That means above the heart. So above the heart, right? Like we have got a head. or brain, that part, what of the blood is circulating in that parts. So from there, impure blood or deoxygenated blood is carried to the heart into the right atrium through superior vena cava, right? And this is inferior vena cava. This is also veins, and this carries impure blood or deoxygenated blood from lower parts of the body into the right atrium. Up to this clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, then what happens? There will be in between this right atrium and left ventricle, right atrium and right ventricle, you will have three flaps, like kind of thing like this. You'll have three flaps like this. So what is the use of these flaps? Once this right atrium is filled with impure blood or deoxygenated blood, this blood will enter into right ventricle, right? So once this blood is filled into this right ventricle, these three flaps will be closed, so that the blood which is in right ventricle will not go back into the right atrium, right? Will not go back to the right atrium. So this is what called as tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve, because it have got three flaps. It have got three flaps. We call this as tricuspid valve, right? And then what happens? Then through then through then through pulmonary arteries. So here we have lungs, right? So then through pulmonary arteries, this impure blood or deoxygenated blood will go to the lungs, will go to the lungs. So there, what happens? Exchange of gases is happening. Exchange of gases is happening. So impure blood or deoxygenated blood will have carbon dioxide in it, right? So it is in blood, you know that in blood we have got hemoglobin. In blood we have got hemoglobin, and this carbon dioxide is combined with this carbon dioxide is combined with hemoglobin, and it is now carbamino hemoglobin. Carbamino hemoglobin. Then this through this pulmonary veins. What is this? Pulmonary arteries. This is pulmonary arteries. So through these pulmonary arteries, the blood or impure blood or deoxygenated blood reaches the lungs, and their exchange of gases happens. So this blood will give away carbon dioxide at alveoli level, at alveoli level, and then oxygen is taken by the blood, and through pulmonary veins, through pulmonary veins, this now this is the what of the blood which is passing through this pulmonary veins is oxygenated blood, or we call it as pure blood, right? So in the lungs, what is happening? Carbon dioxide is given away, and blood is taking oxygen, and that is combined with hemoglobin. That is combined with hemoglobin, and that is called as oxyhemoglobin, right? Now
Okay, sir.
this oxygenate yes, now this oxygenated blood or pure blood enters into this left atrium, right? This enters into left atrium, and once this is filled, so once this is filled, here again there will be two flaps will be there. there will be two flaps like this. There will be two flaps like this, right? Now, these two flaps, we call it as bicuspid valve. This is called as bicuspid valve. So once this left ventricle is also filled, that means the pure blood or the oxygenated blood comes from the lungs through pulmonary veins and it enters into left atrium. And once this left atrium is filled, then what happens? This blood will be emptied into left ventricle through this pores, right? This
Okay,
opening.
sir.
So this opening, right? Now, once this is entering into this, once this is filled, then what happens? There will be arteries here, right? So there will be arteries and there will be aorta here. There will be aorta, right? Now, you have to remember that blood will flow only in one direction. Blood will flow only in one direction. Here, what is happening? The blood which is coming from right atrium to left right ventricle, there is a tricuspid valve. So once the blood is emptied from right atrium to right ventricle, this tricuspid valve will be closed. And here also, when the blood is coming from left atrium to left ventricle, that means the blood which is filled in left atrium is emptied into left ventricle. That is when that is completed, this bicuspid valve will also be closed, so that the
Okay,
blood in
sir.
the right ventricle and left ventricle will not go in the reverse direction.
Okay, sir.
Right? Right. Now, here, here at the same in the same time, in this pulmonary arteries and in this arteries, there will be pulmonary semilunar valves. So here in this pulmonary arteries, you will have pulmonary semilunar valves, right? So in this pulmonary arteries, that means at this point where this right blood in the right ventricle is emptied into this pulmonary arteries. So at this point, you will have this pulmonary semilunar valves. And at this point also, you will have aortic semilunar valves will be there, right? So here you need to understand very clearly that the blood which is filled in right atrium and left atrium simultaneously, that means the deoxygenated blood or impure blood in right atrium and the pure blood or oxygenated blood in left atrium will be filled at the same time. That means these two chambers will be filled at the same time, right? And at the same time, these two chambers will blood in these two chambers will be emptied into these two chambers at the same time, right? That means when these two chambers are full, these two chambers will be empty. Now, when these two chambers become empty, the blood will comes completely into this right ventricle, right? Now, then what happens? These two flaps, tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve, will close at the same time. That is the sound. That is the sound we hear is lub. The heartbeat is what? Lub dub,
Lab. Yes, sir.
right?
Lab.
So, right. So then this tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve are closing very fastly. At that time, the sound we hear is lub, right? When the blood in right ventricle and left ventricle are moving into these pulmonary arteries and arteries, then these pulmonary semilunar valves and aortic semilunar valves will be closed at a time. These two will close at a time, and this sound we hear is dub,
Okay,
right?
sir.
So the sound we hear at this point of time when pulmonary semilunar valves and aortic semilunar valves are closing at same time, we hear a sound. That sound is what called as dub. So this is what lub dub, right? So what is happening here? These two right atriums are filled at the same time, and they are emptied at the same time into these ventricles, and this blood which is in ventricles will be emptied at the same time, and these two enter into this pulmonary arteries and arteries, right? And when the blood is emptied, you'll this tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve will be closed at the same time. So that sound will be somewhat louder, and that sound is lub. And this pulmonary semilunar valves and aortic semilunar valves will be closed at same time, and the sound we hear is dub. So you can
Okay, sir.
understand. So you can understand by our heartbeat, right? So you can understand by our heartbeat how fast our heart is beating. So based on that, how much fast the blood is filled in the atrium, two atriums, and how much fast the blood is moving into these two ventricles, and how much fast the blood is moving into these two pulmonary arteries and arteries. You can understand how fast that is happening, right?
Yes, sir. In a
Now,
fraction of seconds.
now, yeah, in fraction of second this is happening, right? Now the blood which is coming out of this left ventricle, this left ventricle is pure blood or oxygenated blood. Now this will move into this aorta through these arteries, right? And this aorta is just like a junction, right? So from this will move, this will have so many arteries like this. So this blood will move to different parts of the body from this aorta,
Sir,
right?
if you move the
Now,
cam backwards, we will take a screenshot.
yes, yes. Once it is completed, you can take screenshot. I will show you. Okay,
Okay, sir.
right. Now, once this is moving like this, it is also moving towards kidneys. So this blood will move towards kidneys also. So as you know, this kidneys is excretory organ in our body, right? So this is kidney is a excretory system in our body. It is excretory system in our body. Then what happens when this blood moves into this, at this place, whatever the excess water is there, whatever the excess minerals are there, whatever the excess minerals are there, or whatever the urea is there, or whatever the nitrogenous wastes are there, whatever the nitrogenous wastes are there. So these all will be excreted in kidney, which is excretory system in our body, right? And from here, blood also will come back, and here you will have liver, right? Here we have liver, right? And this liver is connected to our stomach also, right? So whatever the food we are taking, that goes into the stomach, right? So here, what is happening here? Nutrients, nutrients will be absorbed. Nutrients will be absorbed here, and that will move into this liver, and from liver, these nutrients will mix up in the bloodstream. These nutrients will be mixed up in the bloodstream. Now, can you tell me, Vashit, what are the major nutrients a human being require?
Macro and micronutrients, the two types of nutrients are.
Yes. What are the macronutrients we have to take?
Large nutrients such as fats,
Fats,
proteins,
uh,
proteins.
proteins. Yes. One more. Munir, do you remember? Fats, proteins, and carbohydrates.
Sir, nutrients.
Yes.
Nutrients,
Fats.
micronutrients. Micro.
Right. Right. So these are macronutrients. We require these nutrients in large quantities. Fats, proteins, and carbohydrates.
Okay, sir.
Right. And then we also need micronutrients like vitamins, calcium, like we have got also many micronutrients are
Minerals.
there, minerals, right? So these are all micronutrients. Now what is happening? So these nutrients are absorbed in the stomach and also small intestine, and they will be moved into this liver, and there what is happening, these nutrients are mixed up in the bloodstream. Again, this blood is coming to right atrium. Now we have connected this, right?
Okay,
So
sir.
this blood is connected to right atrium. Again, then what happens? Again, this blood will move from right atrium to right ventricle. From there, it moves through pulmonary arteries to lungs. There, exchange of gases is happening.
And
Now,
blood will get
oxygen is taken,
oxygenated.
oxygenated, and that is moving to left atrium through pulmonary veins, then to left ventricle. So when this tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve are closed, you will get a sound. That
Opened.
sound is lub,
Okay, sir.
right? And then it bloods from left ventricle will move to the lungs through pulmonary arteries, and here we will have pulmonary semilunar valves, and here the blood from left ventricle will move to the aorta. From there it moves to the different parts of the body, and here you'll have aortic semilunar valves. When these pulmonary and aortic semilunar valves are closed, you'll get one more sound. That sound is called as dub, right? So this is how, right? So here you'll have two different circulations we have. So human body circulation is double circulation. One is from different parts of the body to the heart, and from heart to the different parts of the body. And the second one is from heart to lungs, and from lungs to heart. So we have
Okay,
got
sir. Two times.
two levels of
Okay, sir.
circulation, right? So now if you want to take a screenshot, you can take now. I'll take this horizontal. I think yes, yeah, you can take a screenshot now. Got it?
Resumed.
Okay.
Sir,
Okay.
that's
So dear, okay, dear student, this is what something about circulatory system in human body. Now, if you have any doubts, you can ask me now.
no doubt, sir. It is clear.
Yes. Okay. Muni, do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, done. So this is what something about circulatory system. So we continue in the next class. So that's all for the day. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.